Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with more Digimon Liberator news. We are going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to get to the manga. We're going to click on the manga, get that all situated. We're going to have this get going, and then we're going to go back to the novel side. So while that thing's loading up, and read the novel. This is probably going to be a pretty big episode. I'm going to try to make it pretty good size. We can do a lot. So we're going to do Debug 1 and 2 together, and then we'll do 6 and 2 together, basically. Got a lot of reading to do. And then we will do the manga. The scene is a daytime cityscape with crossings and traffic lights amid masses of buildings. Overlooking the main street are two creatures, a penguin on the sign for a 24-hour general store on the corner, and a black kaiju on the roof of a much larger building in the center. The endless streams of traffic and crowds you would expect in a place like this are totally absent. That is because it isn't reality. It is a digital space. More specifically, it's the one of Digimon Liberator's test servers, where someone has reproduced Shinjuku's main street in painstaking detail. There are 3 visitors. 2 are big and 1 is little. One of the former is a man with a flamboyant sunglasses, his trademark gray hair and white coat fluttering in the gray urban wind. He is Digimon Liberator's operations manager and development chief, known as Cool Boy. It was he who discovered Lacuna and undertook its initial setup. The smallest of the group is a Digimon somewhat resembling a mammal with rodent-like teeth and rotund little ears, but oddly shaped cyan body. This is Espumon. Even more unusual is the third member of the trio, who appears humanoid, yet somehow alien. He has a sapphire torso and cyan components that emit a dim cosmic seeming glow, and green lights that serves as eyes. Every person who meets him agrees that he is the aura of Tokusatsu hero. Called Altea, he is an AI created by Yao Qingling, the ace Digimon Liberator programmer and GM. Although both he and Shinjuku Street are virtual in nature, the sight of him standing there feels undeniably real. For Altea, visiting here, a place of so much like the outside world, is something of a wish come true. It's been 1 year since he was created, and 8 months since he was divulged said wish. It was during the beta test, just after he had completed his basic studies, in the garden about the Digimon card game, where Yao asked him whether he had any goals. At this point, the scenery of Lacuna and the garden were all that Altea knew, and so he straightforwardly stated his desire. Certainly, that is simple enough. Some people are confused about the camera in his eyes. Maybe that's how he actually sees, I guess. And these are just visual representations. The reaction from his mother was memorable. She clasped her fist to her tiny torso and smiled slightly awkwardly. Certainly, her partner Espumon was Godsmacked. Altea did not expect that he had any hope of visiting the outside world. He was a being composed of data, after all, bound to the digital world. He realized his request was unreasonable, and yet it is truly incredible, agreed. I'd seen Yao sneaking off from the world now and then, but I never have guessed she was working on something like this. Judging from Cool Boy's language as he nodded, he was generally caught off guard. Who else could have single-handedly made such a precise replica of Shinjuku? Altea knew nothing of the real thing, but the scale of the achievement alone reaffirmed his creator's remarkable talent, as he once again took in the unpopulated Tokyo district. He welled up with a mix of pride and loneliness, feeling Yao's absence keenly. If it hadn't been for an urgent task for the debugging team, she would have come as well. Sigh. So I'm guessing this is what happens during the not during the battle. It's afterwards. I think while the sand's going on, sooner reason thing we're going to get to. Sigh. I am honored to be here. Some parts resemble Lacuna, but it's amazingly chaotic. What with how these buildings are all spread out, I have to say, I really love it. As a Digimon known to covet knowledge, Espumon's enthusiasm was understandable. It was acting like a kid in a candy store, breathlessly rushing around and exclaiming in awe. Right. Although it's the other way around, Lacuna is based on the real world. Seeing Espimon nodding along to Coolboy's words, Altea also wanted to express how strongly he felt. What did this strong feeling of surprise remind him of? After thinking it over a few moments, he called one thing in particular, and shared it with his audience. Well, I've not felt such shock since I heard about the tangerine that wasn't peeling well after it was beaten to a pulp. Oh, you must citrusly impress then. God, okay, this is where humor's coming from. Coolboy bemusedly tilted his head, glancing sideways at Espimon. Huh? Seems like a pretty low-hanging pun. No way, Mr. Coolboy. That joke's practically the pick of the punch. Is that so? Fascinating. Bunch. Alright, I like this guy. All right. By now, Altea had realized that whatever Coolboy said fascinating with a serious look on his face, it generally meant he didn't really understand. Altea relatively fell silent. AIs like him still somewhat struggled to get their meaning across to people. It appears that it was true even with someone of Coolboy's intelligence. Espimon, on the other hand, was joyfully bouncing to and fro, having evidently appreciated Altea's humorous remark. Ah, good stuff, but Master, tell us more. How would you sum up your feelings about all this? All right, let's see. Altea didn't mind that his partner's pleas were somewhat put on. At an apt moment like this, it was only reasonable for Espimon to expect a joke of the highest caliber he could offer. Keen to meet expectations, Altea worked his cognitive circuits at full output. Well, if you're really wandering around today has been great. Wonderful, in fact. Wah! Master, your language cortex is as sharp as ever. Bullseye! Altea clenched his fist with satisfaction. Having got the reaction he'd hoped for, he could feel elevating activity in his emotional circuits. Coolboy tilted his head once again, but Altea decided not to let that bother him. Right then, we have our motive of levity. Do you mind if we get down to business? Let's, of course. The cyan Digimon and the silver-haired administrator both nodded. The later snapped his fingers, bringing up a holographic window. It displayed a single image of Machinamon. This was the enigmatic half-beast, half-machine level 3 Digimon that had been repeatedly spawning in the Lacuna of Light. Enigmatic. I know how to pronounce that word. The debugging team is responsible for conversing them. Even at this very moment, they were frantically traveling across Lacuna to track them down. Machinamon is still shrouded in mystery. Altea knew two main things about them. Firstly, they were fully adapted to Lacuna's environment. This was discovered through analysis of the first one that was captured. Secondly, they do not appear in any of the Digimon database installed in them. This made him suspect that it was a new type of Digimon native to this world, just like Terramon, Shumon, Elizamon, and other debuggers' partners. Still, he wasn't confident as the evidence was only circumstantial. Every time I see new type, I keep thinking of Gundam, and Gundam's got a card game coming out, so I'm like, my brain goes to that. Anyway, that's just personal thoughts. What's your take on... Oh, I probably should do it a little bit smaller. Okay. What's your take on Machinamon, Altea? My take is that what Coolboy most likely wanted to know is whether this Digimon is ill-intentioned. Although his moral values may be different, he seemed to want a second opinion on whether it posed a threat. In all honesty, they don't appear that dangerous, not enough to justify lengthy discussions within a closer network such as this. I agree, despite their adaptations to Lacuna, they are physically very weak, and unlike most Digimon, they lack a primal desire to seek competition. There is no way they could last long in a survival of the fittest situation. So assuming that Machinamon doesn't have any secret powers able to drastically alter Lacuna, and that they won't harm players, what should be done with them after they are taken in? What kind of life would be right for these Digimon? The trio must come to a decision. Coolboy is right to say that Machinamon are weak, possibly due to their mechanical and biological halves are imperfectly fused. They cannot survive if left alone. So laissez-faire approach is unacceptable, even more so given the debugging team's dedicated efforts to track them down. The risk of them perishing needs to be minimized somehow, and it's a sensitive matter. It wouldn't do for there to be eavesdroppers, which is why they've come to this deserted place. If you wouldn't mind me giving an opinion, Mr. Coolboy, I think Unchained could likely find a solution. It's true. Unchained might be just the person for that task. Here's to what he knows about, but alright. This person, Unchained, a special consultant to the debugging team, is in fact a digital life form composed of purely data, just like Altea. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's what. Alright. However, unlike Altea, an AI created by Yao, Unchained is native of Lacuna, having come into existence independently of any human design. Unchained's birth was, by their own account, a spontaneous event resulting from the influence of Digimon upon structural data in the Digimon Liberator application. So, Unchained is a digital life form. Interesting. So he's kind of similar to a Digimon. Interesting. Alright. Altea's impression of Unchained was by no means negative. They had spoken several times, and he frequently saw them in jovial conversation with Coolboy. Since their relations were reasonably friendly, the idea of relying on Unchained gave Coolboy and Altea pause for thought. I think personal reservation must be put aside, Coolboy. We lack alternatives, and besides, Unchained is inextricably involved already. I know. Honestly, you have to hand to our special consultant. You sure do. It was undeniable. Without Unchained, the debugging team would be at loss regarding how to handle Machinamon. Their special consultant possessed an isolated virtual space and had lent it to the hybrid Digimon. Perhaps the similarities between the two of them, both having been born from Liberator data, was what motivated Unchained to assist. The help came without any persuasion. This is something that Altea, often occupied with attending to the garden, was most grateful for. In any case, we still need to decide how the Machinamon should be handled. Indeed, the main objective of this discussion isn't it? The analysis of Machinamon had been completed, and its weaknesses had been reported on. The issue now is, assuming the rest of them are successfully rounded up, is finding a way to circumvent their weaknesses and ensure their natural survival. Naturally, the three had already given it consideration. SB1 was the first to voice its thoughts. Master, in my humble opinion, we ought to go ahead with what we previously discussed with Coolboy, simply giving them an isolated environment. Yes, maybe, and I suppose that ties in with the choice of location. The Shinjuku era, Miss Qing Lang, kindly invited us and is indeed isolated. Your thoughts, Coolboy? Could be viable, but I don't know about optimal. First, we need to go back and research Machinamon's makeup and behavior, and then we may need to prepare a specialized space. I was thinking virtually the same thing. Your subtle references always hit the spot, Master. Altea couldn't help but make a little quip, but on seeing Coolboy's recoil and bemusement, he regretted retracting from the conversation's seriousness. The joy of visiting Shinjuku had made him unexpectedly giddy. I'm sorry, Mr. Coolboy. Stay on topic. I ought to mention that I'll be continuing to thoroughly analyze the Machinamon study sample data. As the administrator of the garden, Altea has access to several private areas. Among these is a research facility where the Digimon database is accessible. Here, Altea began his analysis by running Machinamon sample data against the database in order to find similar Digimon. The most vital point to consider is how it manages to have biological and mechanical components simultaneously. I believe you mentioned that there is a member of the debugging team with relevant expertise. That's right. In fact, will be arriving here any minute. Coolboy took out his watch and checked the time. So far, the meeting in the virtual Shinjuku had consisted of himself, Altea, and Espimon, but a fourth person was due to arrive, an expert that we're counting on. He is a debugger, but more to the point, he is a GM, although less senior than me. Just like Coolboy and Yao, the person apparently is a member of IDEA, a developer. He was known for successfully stopping a rampaging Digimon during the beta test, resulting in his appointment as a game master. Apparently that very Digimon now works alongside him as his partner. Altea had spoken with his teammates beforehand to learn more about him, and interestingly, personality was frequently brought up. In short, he said to be something of a geek. Good, he's here. As on cue, a portal opened up behind Altea. A man in a white lab coat stepped out of the bright light and into the virtual Shinjuku. He was a medium build in every dimension, with a very hunched back. His black hair was unkempt and shaggy, so chaotic that it almost looked like a perm, with bangs covering his eyes. An ID hung around his neck, printed with the name Cheetos Jorge. Hey, thanks for coming. Facing cool boy Jorge lifted his hand awkwardly and nodding in greeting. Hey, good to see you, Altea. I think it's the first time we've spoken. I'm Hojira of the Digimon Liberator development team. Sorry, I'm like, whoa, it really doesn't look like Shinjuku, Mr. Cool Boy. This is seriously impressive. Perfect in every detail. He didn't finish his greeting, overcome with amazement as he surveyed the reproduction of Shinjuku he found himself in. Sure enough, it seemed that even though those who knew the real thing found it very impressive. With a slightly reproachful air, Cool Boy interrupted Hojira by awkwardly clearing his throat. I understand your excitement, Hojira, but I didn't call you here today for sightseeing. Oh, sorry, I couldn't help myself. So you need to know about the composite types. Was it that? That's right. Altea is currently researching Mechanomon, and your knowledge might be able to help him. Well, if you're the one asking, you can assure I'll give it my all. In truth, he came across to Altea rather haphazard, but Yao had always told him not to be misled by a person's demeanor. He promptly straightened his own posture and pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hojira. The pleasure is all mine, Altea. Ask me anything you like. I hope I can help. With the introductions out of the way, Cool Boy looked again at his pocket watch. He had mentioned imminent meeting about a new tale production. I'm afraid of something else I need to attend to. I hope you can leave this matter in Hojira's capable hands. That you can. Hojira's shaggy hair swayed as he bowed to the departing Cool Boy. It was apparent that he held Cool Boy in high esteem. Even though Altea couldn't see his face as he bowed, he could sense there was a sparkle in his eyes. Altea, yes, it's no exaggeration that he's specifically in composite Digimon. As you know, when the first level 5 wild Digimon appeared Lacuna, this is the man who cleaned up that mess. I've heard the story. If I'm not mistaken, that rampaging Digimon was... Altea once again fired up his cognitive circuits and fell silent for a brief moment. But before he was about to say the name, he remembered. Hojiro beat him to the punch. It was Chimeramon, Altea. A Digimon emerged from the D-storage Hojiro was holding. A level 3 with a rabbit-like appearance and sharp gaze. Although these days it worked alongside me in the form of Gazimon, Hojiro partner stood there looking at them. Interesting! Okay. So our Hojiro's got a Chimeramon, but its base form is Gazimon. Alright. The virtual Shinjuku quaked as the chimeric beast let out a battle cry. There was a visible rattling of pylons and glass panes as the screeching sound reverberated. The city, which was lit by a spotless sky before, was now awash with shadows and night. Countering them were swathes of glistening neon lights, illuminating Altea and the others and making the winged beast above them as visible as the sun were shining. That's Chimeramon then. Alright, so this is the BT-18 version. Gazing up at the colossal Digimon in the night sky, Altea inadvertently let out a small gasp of admiration. Why? He can see that the mesh of monsters merged into a single form made a fearsome sight, but it wasn't a novel one. Chimeramon was far from a new type of Digimon, and Altea was experienced battler who'd seen comparable intimidating Digimon Lacuna, like Yuki's Heavy Metal Dramon and Ryoto's Dynamon. Perhaps it was the surroundings that made him feel so unexpectedly overwhelmed. Although just another kaiju, this one was right in the middle of a metropolis. It was still a fair distance away in the breeding area. If Altea had been a normal human being, fear might have broken his concentration when latter emerged in the battle area. This aura, I suppose, it's heightened by using it in a city and it being in night. Exactly. Atmospheric, isn't it? Altea had only murmured, but Hojiro responded and gave him a beaming look, mostly obstructed by his mop-like hair. It's impressive that you understand the atmosphere, although given all the effort I've put into you, I shouldn't be surprised.
I see now. You went out of your way to adjust the time settings to enhance this battle's cinematic flair. Yep, not a bad call, right? Coolboy also said it would be fascinating. Apparently, Hojiro had not caught on to Coolboy's habit of claiming to be fascinated when actually at a loss. The truth might be a little painful for him, so Altea held his tongue. Such emotional sensitivity was proof of him being truly cutting-edge AI. We're getting a little overshadowed here, Master. Addressed by the level form of his partner in the breeding area, Altea nodded. However, Espimon? Okay. We are. Espimon. We got a gigantic Digimon of our own, and in the meantime, let's head into a nearby tower. What for? What better place for having a scrap with something in the sky? Nice, Master. You're in top form today. This is seriously throwing me off. Seeing hover Espimon bob delightedly around the breeding area while Altea pneumatically proceeding with play, Hojiro couldn't help but agitatedly ruffle his hair. Chimeramon is arguably among the pinnacle of composite Digimon. Having strayed from his role of lecturer, Hojiro got back on track, smoothing his annoyed expression into one more serious. Deltamon just earlier wasn't exactly the best example of a composite type, since it came into existence through a bug and had split personality. Chimeramon, on the other hand, had a single mind and totally focused on combat, so it's perfect in that sense. Anyhow, keeping indulging in punnery, if you'd like, you'll need more than words if you want to avoid Shinjuku getting leveled. Mr. Hojiro, I'm slightly concerned by how well you're playing the villain. Sorry, it's kind of fun. Seeming a little embarrassed, he confessed that he would always side with the kaiju when watching monster movies. Altea in turn reevaluated the field of battle. The situation Altea had as upper Espimon in the breeding area and 2 security cards, while his opponent has Chimeramon and 4. Only Altea had a card in the battle area, namely his Terror card. Although both of them will be watching carefully to see what the other does, Hojiro had been noticeably aggressive, and Altea couldn't afford to make a mistake due to his reduced security. I never have guessed you were this type of player from what I've heard of from you other debuggers. Your moves have been optimal in light of our respective decks with no sort of accompanying taunts. Evidently, my memory requires updating. Declaring the start of his turn, Altea faintly muttered to himself, I better focus less on compliments and more on strategy. Hojiro is right, however, Espimon. We're in for a beating unless we go on the offensive ourselves. Understood. Buoyant, however, Espimon made for the battle area, and in tandem, Altea's Tamer card activated. By placing 1 level 4 from your hand or treasure the bottom. Okay. Blipmon, go underneath hover Espimon, thus activating my special effect. Befitting of an AI. We're going to get more into hover Espimon, into Blipmon, but I have some thoughts on the matter. Take a dag on the drink. Befitting an AI, it's artificial intelligence maneuver that reveals your top security. Spy scan execute. Just then, Altea's built-in headcam flashed brightly, and the security card in his sights was flipped up. Its name. Chimeramon. I'll have to plan accordingly. That one has a nasty effect. Can it be my spy scan was too spicy for your taste buds, bud? I appreciate if you kept that shuttered. Apologies, I might not be able to oblige you there. Now give me my new intel. I'll be digivolving further. Come, Oblivimon! Heeding the order, however, Espimon smoothly took off. Although the Digimon Siam frame could withstand the altitudes of 20,000 meters, it needed optimization to attain further aerial capabilities. The result of this transformation was a radically blue disc, an archetypal UFO. Its engine noise imperceptible, and its flight path unpredictable. Okay. Your turn when this. Ongoing. With its wind digivolving effect, Oblivimon revealed one of the opponent's security cards. Flip your opponent's top face. Okay. Revealing one of the opponent's security cards, and then immediately attacks it. The card had housed formed a security Digimon, and Oblivionmon was in sight. But before that, I'll be applying jamming, the inheritable effect from Compurimon, which comes into play when a face-up security card is checked and landed up in advance. Further, there is Oblivionmon's own effect that activates when face-up security is checked. I'll take one of Oblivionmon's top cards, Oblivionmon itself this time, and place it face up under my security. I'm back as Hover Espionmon. However, immediately after this Digivolution had downed a security card, Hover Espionmon re-emerged in the wake of the beams of scattered light. Then even more light, vanished, vast and weighty, descended upon the android Digimon. It dispersed and left standing was an imperious, building-sized machine Digimon, which Hover Espionmon swiftly docked with. Digivolving to Bulbmon is the last move of my turn. A risk-free security check, then straight into a blocker to end on your turn. Not bad, I'm impressed. Hojiro scratched his head, unnerved by Altea's stoic tone. So, Blimon actually has become Bulbmon a lot, and I thought that was a weird choice. I would have liked Kinkekimon, but hey, they're sticking to previous lore, so I'll dig it. But let's not forget, I'm the one doing the teaching today. Chimeramon, let's digivolve. Breaking off its unhurried orbit above them, the colossal composite Digimon touched down the battle area before being enwreathed in the light of evolution. The result was a steel figure, all the more dazzling from the glaring neon reflections. A true elite among the machine types, made up of components of numerous cyborg Digimon, Machinedramon. Alright, okay. I get to digivolve, reverting Bulbmon to Hover Espionmon, and leaving your security wide open for attack. The inheritable effect from Chimeramon means that you'll check two cards, and my security failed. So I'm left with only my face-up Oblivionmon for defense. You're acting awfully composed. I wonder if that will change after this. Digicross with 3 cards in my hand. Hojiro played a new card, placing three different Deltamon from his hand underneath it. With it, yet another composite beast arrived in Shinjuku. Alright. Alright. You had a different Chimeramon up your sleeve, I see. Alright. Digimon that can be combined in lots of ways. Anyhow, I'm not done. I'll use the Chimeramon's effect to delete my Machinedramon and your Espionmon. Hover Espionmon. Machinedramon showed discover it as it was deleted by Chimeramon, both born through the amalgamation of many other Digimon's components. These two are at peace with the notion of becoming components to themselves. Now for Machinedramon's on-deletion effect. I can use the Machinedramons in my trash and Chimeramon to DNA Digivolve. Millenniummon, the absolute pinnacle of composite Digimon, capable of tearing even dimensional absurd, toppling the city buildings like they were children's toy blocks. Okie dokie. Alright. Millenniummon has a wind digivolving effect. I'll send the Bulbmon, Hover Espionmon, and Espionmon in your trash to the top of your deck and gain 3 memory. I see, limiting my draws as well as my memory next turn. That's about the size of it. Although a researcher, I'm a debugger too. It wouldn't do me to get my butt handed to me by our backyard administrator AI. The barb made Altea suddenly pause. How troubling. Do you have me down as a mere administrator? I'm afraid I have absolutely to show you how wrong you are in this battle. Absolutely. Just before the change of turn, a strong light suddenly shone upon the battle area. Oblivionmon emerged from the security thanks to its opponent's turn effect. Don't you know how much support my master gives all the debuggers? There's no one else who makes such efforts. Reading countless reports and test battle records, studying every day, and trying to get to know everyone as best as possible. It's not fair to go labeling him as just an AI or backyard administrator. Now hold on, Oblivionmon. It was ready for a war of words to defend his master, but Altea called out calmly. But master, in battle one must let their actions speak for themselves. I ask that you lend me your help. You know what to do. Judging from Oblivionmon's change in expression and defiant glare at the Millenniummon, it appeared that it indeed know what to do. It indeed knew what to do. Right. I'll be ready whenever. Excellent. Then let's commence our offensive operation. Altea's turn began. His tamer card ascended to 3 memory, and he hatched Compurimon in the breeding area. I'll be putting Hover Espeon under Oblivionmon, the effect of my tamer card, and then revealing a security card. Next, Compurimon in the breeding area digivolves an Espeon. On top of that, Oblivionmon. Yes. The Digivolution you're about to witness is a Raz that gets Behold. Syncing with Oblivionmon's declaration of a Digivolution, a cocoon of intense light encased it. It expanded until even the city lights looked dimmed by the comparison. The resulting Digimon was blue, steely, and as tall as Skyscraper. Invisimon, an unbeatable Goliath. The spinning image of the beloved heroic defender of humanity from a film Altea once studied. Alright. Let's go. My wind digivolving effect will de-digivolve 2 of your Millenniummon. Alright. Millennium. With the activation of wind digivolving effect, Invisimon disappeared. The next moment, it closed the distance with Millenniummon and raided its fists. When the lightning fast fury subsided, its mega adversary was no more, having digivolved into Champion Deltamon. Hojo was dumbfounded. You're telling me it was that kind of speed with that gigantic steel body, and even stealth? Correct, and the most surprising part is yet to come. Setting assured, Altea commanded his partner with a gesture. I'm attacking with Invisimon. According to its effect, activates when checking security. Hojo was the target of Invisimon's next barrage, after which it immediately vanished. I'll be placing Invisimon among my security cards. Oblivionmon remains, and I'll digivolve into Raidenmon. The imposing machine-type substitute arrived. In place of optical camouflage, it had a coat of classic camo colors. Its pattern was not suited to the brightly light city, but the Digimon's raw mass was enough to impart a sense of threat. This makes our security stacks even. Now to see if I'll be able to close this out, or you can snatch victory. You would need a Digimon, though, which you currently lack. Provoked, Ojiro gave a little glance down at his hand. Actually, I think I got this. I have Chimeramon, Machinedramon, and Millenniummon in my hand, so I can get the latter out with Digicross. And with an on-play effect, I can get rid of Raidenmon. Then, Altea calmly shook his head. I'm afraid you haven't considered Raidenmon's effect, which lets me keep Oblivionmon in play. At the end of your turn, Invisimon shifts from its defensive role back onto the offense. Your last security card will also be revealed. It's game, set, and match, I believe. Fortified yet fluid, invisible yet invincible. Our strategy has been successful in its aim. Only after ample pause did he immediately fanatically finish. I'd say the towering giant toppled a little toy tower. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Victorious Altea Espeon had brought peace back to Shinjuku and also earned an unexpected apology from Hojiro. It's fine, I don't need an apology. No, it was disgraceful to belittle you on the basis of your being an AI and Garden's caretaker. Forgive me, for a researcher who studies digital life forms, and not only that, but also fellow debugger, those words were not acceptable. Hojiro perfectly straightened out his hunched back and then bent his body down, making a full right angle at the waist in a deeply apologetic bow. Altea looked at Espeon and in bewilderment. Altea had considered the matter settled, since he had already raised his objection to the insult and shown his superior strength in battle. Still, it was a good thing that Hojiro had seriously reflected on his own words and offered apology. No worries, Mr. Hojiro. Please stand up straight. I'll take no pleasure in seeing a colleague racked with guilt, so let's put this behind us. I've cooled down as well. All right, thanks. It was a magical phrase. No worries. Having picked it up from Yao, Altea started to grasp the value of its vagueness. More importantly, would you care to hear my observations from our battle? Of course. After all, the whole point of this was to deepen your understanding of composite types. Hojiro scratched his head, still feeling a bit awkward. Your Millenniummon is a being formed through the combination of 2 composite Digimon, Chimeramon and Machinedramon, which in turn are formed from the synthesis of many different Digimon, biological and cyborg, respectively. Millennium represents Millenniummon represents the coexistence of the technological and natural within one entity, and that makes it remarkably similar to the Machinamon we've been dealing with. Right, Mr. Coolboy. Probably made us battle in order to help you gain that sort of insight. Did you unravel anything? Altea held his hand to his chin a little hesitantly before muttering, as if to himself, I believe Machinamon may not be a composite Digimon after all. Why? Based on my intuition, I can explain my reasoning. If you look at, say, Chimeramon or Millenniummon, they are able to exist as composite Digimon with all their components integrated, because they've reached an appropriate level of maturity. Deltamon, on the other hand, which doesn't have a unified control of its parts, is still a champion. Right, then you have Machinamon, only a rookie. And to start with, it's not even clear from where its components originated. Altea nodded in agreement with Espimon, then looked straight at Hojira. That said, my main reason is indeed intuition. Machinamon seems to be like a Digimon who intrinsically embodies the opposing notions of nature and civilization. If that's true, could they be the result of a mutation? Altea shook his head at Hojira's suggestion. There are far too many of them for that to be the case. If anything, my feeling is that they contrast at the very core of its being, its defining characteristic. That was the conclusion Altea ultimately reached upon Machinamon, that it was the kind of a creature it was. Despite its defective cybernetics and its cobbled-together appearance, if it's as you say, then its very existence is quite pitiful. This coming from a composite player. Actually, Gazimon digivolves for me of its own volition, and when Lacuna, there's no pain at all. As Hojira said this, a grayish-blue purple mammal popped up on the shoulder of its white lab coat. Seeing that there was indeed no sadness in the eyes of the grinning Digimon, Altea felt a little relief. In any case, if we were to continue protecting the Machinamon, it would be heavy responsibility. It would be wise to do more in-depth research. Absolutely. I can count on your collaboration. Yes, of course. You betcha. Altea exchanged a glance with his enthused partner and gave a little nod. Of course, the research would continue. And I never cease its compute. After all, perhaps the research would find a way to reconcile or integrate the natural and artificial sides of Machinamon. If so, the data yielded might also help continue his endeavor to build closer relationships with the colleagues he was coming to like so much. Okay. All right. Stop and resume for chapters 6 and 2. All right, let's continue. Obsidian Desert, the dusty demonic realm Lacuna. There are almost nothing around for miles except desert. Just like everywhere else in Lacuna, it's true-to-life environment, down to each grain of sand, such as a realism that you can actually feel the non-existent temperature. It's similar to Ruby Mountain, the Inferno Zone in this regard, although with a different flavor. Visiting players always note the dryness of the heat and the dustiness of the air. But this desert is more than a simple sea of sand. Scattered oases, cool springs surrounded by rings of lush green vegetation dot the landscape, almost placed there by design to relieve visitors of oppressive desert heat. Many are furnished with tables and benches along the water's edge for the weary travelers to rest their feet. This small number of sanctuaries offer a rare place to rest, stock up on supplies, and interact with other players in an area so hostile that has earned the nickname the Demonic Realm. In one such refugee is a girl wearing an angry scowl on her face. It's Yuki from the debugging team. I'm serious, it was right here. Yuki banged her fist on the table, shouted so her voice seemed to reverberate across the desert. The spectacled boy sitting across from her short look of indifference. It was her teammate, Winner. We're already suffering enough out here. Could you at least keep it down, Yuki? No way! You don't believe me, do you? No, but I don't. And I'm telling you, I saw a wild green Digimon. Yuki's cries pierced through the dry desert winds, it disappearing into the electronic blue sky. Yuki asserted, gesturing to her partner, it might have been because of the heat, but the evil Digimon seemed more listless than usual, as it's cooled off with ice in it at summon. Yeah, I did. It looked like a green caterpillar. Still coming from you, it's no wonder people are so skeptical. They probably think you're seeing things. Itmon, you're supposed to be on my side, remember? Why do you have to keep dragging me all the time? Here we go. Winner sighed as Yuki and Itmon began bickering again, without paying him a second thought. He glanced over to his own Digimon partner, Funbeamon, who was resting its wings beside him. What do you think, Funbeamon? A green caterpillar? Could be Dokunmon, possibly Wormmon. It could even be a new type altogether. But me and the hive looked all around here and found nothing. I suppose it could have been taken over an NPC, or maybe even hiding within an inanimate object. Suzune recently reported an instance of that. But wouldn't someone had just seen it? The debugging team having been all over this area today? Winner nodded. My thoughts exactly. There's nowhere for a wild Digimon to hide here today. Everyone's out looking for a Machinamon. That was the debugging team's current primary mission. The capture of Machinamon, Digimon of a new and unknown type. There have been a number of sightings across the Obsidian Desert, and so the team had been urgently dispatched earlier to that day. After we capture a Machinamon around here, Funbeamon and the others were extra careful to inspect every NPC and object they could find. While you and Yuki have been on break, Rotaro finally arrived, and Suzune too, and they have been patrolling the area. Plus, we have another team taking care of the other side, so I doubt that we would have failed to spot it. Aren't there two rookies on the other team? They could have missed something. I don't think so, Yuki conceded, shaking her head. Not with the number of solid teammates we have over there. Since every debugger undertakes missions alongside their real-world work and study, there are many different daily routines within the team, making it difficult for everyone to get to know each other. Another contributor to this is that of intel sharing and reporting is they carried out via GMs rather than directly among teammates. So while a failure to forge relationships might be expected of someone like Winner, even Yuki has a few team members she only knows by sight. There were a few team members on this mission in the Obsidian Desert who neither of them were very familiar with at all. Owen Dreadnought and his partner Lizamon, a famously talented Digimon card player and the second best in the world. Even among the debugging team, he is seen as a little difficult to approach, with a demeanor just as stern and playstyle as just as intense as the virtual world as the real. Yuki once cheerfully attempted to strike up a conversation with him during the beta test, only to be met with a glare, thus earning him the reputation as the scary guy. It doesn't seem like she had entirely given up on getting to know him, though. Rather, she's waiting for the right time so as to avoid a personality clash between the arrogant Elizamon and the cynical Impmon. Violent inbroots in her ghost partner Ghostmon, since it's not in good manners to pry into people's real lives online. No one knows much about her, but they are all in agreement that she's probably filthy rich. She seems to be unaware of the term's personal space, as she's always up in everyone's business. The awkward Winner sees her as the oil to his water, but at the same time he values positive attitude and even her pushiness. Funbeamon also has a great deal of respect for Ghostmon, who, unlike the ever-attentive Insectoid Digimon, has earned its partner's trust through quiet and subtle means. Close in her partner Tsunerizamon, not many members know about her, as she's not very chatty and doesn't take part in many missions. Even so, she garnered more than a few secret admirers on the team thanks to her extraordinary talent as a Digimon card player and unusual good looks. After challenging to her match, Ryotaro Williams declared her to be one of a kind, and was apparently delighted that her partner Digimon Tyrannomon seemed to hit it off with Tsunerizamon. Then there are the two tamers who joined the debugging team other day, Shota Kazuma and Risei Kinosaki. Both are partners of the new types of Digimon, Terramon and Shumon. Shota in particular seemed as a rising star among the team after his victory against the out-of-control NPC. Apparently even Suzune Kazuki went to greet him after his induction, although she ended up deterred by the hostility of the Bluekamon on her deck towards Terramon, perhaps due to their having battled before. Her partner Frigimon also mentioned how it wants to see what Shoto is truly capable of. O and V are with the newbies. Owen might be a little intimidating, and V can be a lot, but they're both good at what they do. Close was nearby too. I don't know her very well, but I've heard she's pretty capable. Winner was momentarily taken aback by the audacity of someone as intense as Yuki to brand anyone else a lot, but he nodded in agreement. In any case, I think it's settled. There's no way that any wild Digimon could be hiding all this while going on. You and Itmon must have been seeing things. Grr, I believe in you, teacher. Winard struggled his shoulders as Yuki eyed him resentfully. It's a mistake that anyone could make. I'm more curious to why you're being so stubborn about it. Because... Yuki's expression clouded over and she began to draw invisible circles on the table with her finger. If there really is a wild Digimon, we have to capture it before it's too late. That's when it hit Winter. The wild Digimon and Lacuna aren't adapted to their environment. It could take hours, it could take days, but without proper conservation, the Digimon would perish. Some team members were able to compartmentalize that fact during their missions, but Yuki wasn't one of them. To make friends with every single Digimon, that was the dream she touted to all and sundry. Sure, it sounded crazy, but she was totally serious. That's why it hurts her so much to think that there could be an unknown Digimon out there to disappear forever, and she couldn't do a thing about it. I'm sorry, Yuki, I wasn't thinking. After meeting Funbeamon brought so much light back to his life, Winter 2 had pondered about Digimon's ultimate fate. So despite his age, he could empathize with Yuki fully. What are you looking so miserable for? I didn't mean to upset anyone. Come on, cheer up already, Yuki. Exactly, Winnie. Yuki, whether a wild Digimon out here or not, it doesn't seem to change the fact that you both gave it all your all out here today. Seeing the subdued expressions on their faces, their partners Itmon and Funbeamon desperately began to console the two tamers. That's when a large man suddenly appeared standing before them and gave them both a big clap on the back. At the same time, a shadow was cast overhead and an unnaturally chilly breeze began to blow through the midday desert. Hey, good job, you two, rude Tyrannomon. It's not like me to do all the running, so I'm a little beat. I'm gonna go cool off, Ryu. Hey, watch it, Tyranno. Itmon protested as Tyrannomon jumped into the water behind him and with a huge splash while Ryu gave Yuki a high five. Room for one more? Hi, Suzanne. By all means, take a seat. I can tell you come from the change in temperature, Frigimon. You negated all the heat from Ryotaro. What a thing to say with such straight face, Winter. But if I can be of service, feel free to use me as cool off as much as you like. The woman who greeted Yuki and Winter before sitting down next to him was Suzanne. Beside her, Frigimon shook with laughter. Suzanne looked at her two younger colleagues and faintly smiled before, pressing some buttons on the D-surge. Several glasses of iced tea suddenly appeared. I'm sure we have a lot to discuss, but let's have some tea first, shall we? I'll cut to the chase. We didn't find anything unusual in our search zone. It's not as if we let them slip through our fingers, either. Ryotaro left no stone unturned. They definitely weren't there. And seeing as I was paired with a lady as mature, as beautiful as Suzanne, I applied myself even more than usual. But she's younger than you. Listen, Winter, it doesn't matter if she's younger and prettier than me. She can still be much more mature, if you know what I mean. No, not really. Thank you, Ryotaro. Ryotaro and Suzanne's report was brief, with nothing slightly eyebrow-raising, apart from the former's gushing compliments. There, too, appeared to have been some issues over on the other side of the area, though. Issues? What kind of issues? I don't know the exact details, something to do with Owen, Close, and that rookie Shoto. The new kid dealt with it, and everything's alright now. Then she looked straight at Yuki. But there still hasn't been any reports of the wild Digimon you told us about on either side. It's hard to believe that you and Itmon were both seeing things at the exact same time. Though, which means, Suzanne paused to exchange with Frigimon before continuing, that the Digimon you witnessed are probably coming to the end of the lifespan and already disappeared. Oh. As Yuki clenched her hands in her lap tightly, Ryotaro gave her a slight gentle pat on the back. Sorry it's not better news, but I admire your attitude. But I'm sad. But it's admirable that you can be sad. Yuki cast her eyes down before putting on a smile and facing Ryotaro and Suzanne once more. Thanks, Ryo, and you too, Suzanne. Giving it to me straight like that. I respect you for being professional. You're very welcome, Yuki, but it shouldn't have to be like this. Suzanne muttered to herself quietly before downing the rest of her iced tea. Usually the beverage gave her a sense of relief, but not this time. That's it then. Mission complete. Shall we get going, everyone? When Susanne finished speaking, Frigimon picked her up and placed her onto its shoulder. Tyrannomon shook the remaining drops of water off its body and also began to walk away with Yuichiro. Winter, with 2 or 3 steps behind them, hanging back and watching Yuki and Itmon beside her, who was pulling on its scarf as it wanted to say something. Fun Beamon approached Winter and its low voice asked, "Are you going to stand there, Winnie? What do you mean? Don't you have anything you want to say to Yuki? Am I that obvious, Fun Beamon?" Murmuring in defeat, he turned his head towards Yuki before turning back to Fun Beamon. "It's okay. I think Itmon wants to word with her. If we're around it'll be harder for Itmon to open up." Hee hee. Now that's maturity, Winnie. Please don't make fun of me. I'm not, honestly. Anyhow, once we're back, how about we both think of what we can say to her cheer up? I can't win, can I? Shaking her head, Winter walked off with Fun Beamon, watching them go. Itmon began to mutter. Hey, Yuki, I'm so sorry, Itmon. Come now. Some wishy-washy apology isn't like you. Itmon gave a Yuki an annoyed glare as its tail from side to side in frustration. There's no need to be like that. Even I have off days, you know. Who cares? You're an idiot, so how is dwelling on this going to solve anything? Hey, knock it off. I'm super cut up about this. Enough. Itmon stood his ground looking the teary-eyed Yuki in the face throughout her protests. You really think you can become friends with every Digimon with such a soppy attitude? What? Yuki lifted her head as if caught off guard. Sure, we could have been seeing things, or maybe it already has disappeared. We don't know, but it could still be alive. Do you think that Digimon would have wanted to be friends with you as you are now? I don't remember agreeing to partner up with such a cryberry. Itmon! Yuki wiped the rest of her tears from her eyes and grabbed Itmon in a bear hug. Whoa, what are you doing, you idiot? Let me go! Stop squeezing me! Thank you, Itmon. I'm all right now. Oh, you are. Oh, are you? Are you? All right, Yuki, back, baby. We better catch up to the others. I want to see how the rookies did. Why bother? There's no way that they're any worse than you. No way. I'm a veteran from the beta test. So a veteran by a single year, then. That should have been Yao. He must have been way stronger than you are. That's certainly one way to take. At least try to deny it. Yuki let Itmon's complaints wash over as she crossed the desert against the backdrop of a setting sun. All the while thinking about how nice it would be to see that bug-like Digimon one more time. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to be on a break as I need to take a drink. And then I'll continue. Alright, take a little break. Got some Ricola, a cough drop. Be good to go. A place of darkness. A place where no light penetrated. All that entered the eye was the color black, and if not for Unchained being there, it might not have been recognized as a place at all. Devoid of data, its very status space within the Westworld was ambiguous in and of itself. I should be used to it by now, but the darkness here always gets to me. Unchained conjured up some light. Countless particles of green beam float through the air and brighten the area, but it's in this empty place, the only thing illuminated was the outline of Unchained's own body. It was a space within both Lacuna and the garden, yet at the same time neither. It was the gap that filled the space between all the data and the drifted across the net. Unchained accordingly gave it the makeshift nickname of the Void. Actually, I don't know. I am not human. I am not human. I am not human. No, I am just the same old me. Unchained often visited the Void when they wanted to be alone. It kind of reminded them of themselves. They were neither male nor female. They were neither grown nor a child. Unchained was a mass of data in human form, an entity that simply happened to be born from the systems at work in the game known as Digimon Liberator. They were not human. A digital being, but not a Digimon. That was what Unchained loathed most about it themselves. Having been made to remember that the fact once again, Unchained had come here to be alone and sulk a little. Sigh. It is becoming unbecomingly to wallow in my feelings like this. When in the void, Unchained would reflect on the awkward circumstances they found themselves in. Being a special advisor to the debugging team required Unchained to interact with people often, and ever since their appointment to the role, it had only seen them to become all the more common for them to get struck by the emotion. It was honestly quite difficult. Every single person on the debugging team was so good. Some were funny, others kind or stylish or cute or cheerful, but all they possessed big hearts and care for others. It didn't take long for Unchained to understand how good-natured they all were. However, being around those sorts of people for so long had blurred the lines of Unchained's own self-perception. Maybe I might be human after all, but no, they weren't. They would never be human, and they would never be a Digimon. It was this straddling of the gray area between that made Unchained begin to waver in their commitment to their goal. Sometimes they caught themselves conceding that it might not be so bad not to change anything. And when they did, they came to the void to recompose themselves. Well, there's not exactly any getting around it. It was like Unchained was trying to convince themselves they were only on the team because they had to be. That no matter the regret, they had to keep on pushing forward. They were prepared for all the hurt that achieving their goals would bring. It was unavoidable. None of their human teammates could be blamed in the slightest for the melancholy that once again plagued Unchained. Welling like this, they simply to their tendency. If they were honest with themselves, they liked, nay, found it fun to chat to the other members of the debug team. They wished they could hang out more. It always felt good to talk to those guys. Altea. As an autonomous AI created by Yao Qinglang, he's similar to Unchained on that one hand, but completely different on the other. Having learned about people from other people, the more humans than humans, Altea knew exactly how to interpret, consider, and act upon whenever Unchained is said. It was a skill that made it possible for him to sometimes pick up things in Unchained's mind that even they were not aware of. It made it fun and easy for them to talk to. It was a shame about his terrible jokes, but they loved them too. Suzune Kazuiki, the spouse of the lead developer of Digimon Liberator, Kizuki Kazuiki. She was brought up in a affluent household, and despite marrying into the moderately well-off Kazuki family, took on a role with the group to help out with the family finances. She was probably the sharpest mind on the debugging team and seemed to be more and more distant with Unchained these days. Perhaps she suspected something. Still, it didn't matter what she thought because Unchained couldn't help but like the clever woman. Ryotaro Williams, he loved Digimon. He loves Digimon as passion shone through as soon as you start talking to him. His unquestioning faith in people had backfired on more than once in his past, and it hurt Unchained to know that there was likely more pain in store for him in the future. But that faith was the reason Unchained loved him. Just talking to someone who loves Digimon as much as they did put Unchained at ease. Winner. Unchained had heard the stories of Winner's unideal home life, but perhaps the boy was so shy they had never spoken, not even once. However, whether born out of pity or sadness, Unchained held a degree of compassion for him. His reserved nature and hard-working attitude despite his youth resonated with them. Yuki. She was a strange girl who could make friends with anyone. From the moment she joined the debugging team, she wouldn't shut up about her dream of becoming friends with all Digimon. But lo and behold, she seemed to be inching ever closer to making it come true day by day. And she never doubted anyone. That's how she was able to get so close to so many people, and why they chose to open up to her. At times, the things that come out of her mouth are unintelligible, but that was all part of her charm. Unchained was yet another who would open their heart to her. But it wasn't as those were only people that Unchained liked. It was everyone else on the debugging team too, In fact, all those who played Digimon Liberator interacted with Digimon digital monster content. And that's why Unchained wanted to put them to the test. Was that cruelty? Each and every player was a complex individual with their own ambiguities when it came to their sense of justice, the policies they led by, their pride and their dreams. However, all were united in their love for spending time with Digimon. None of that was going to mesh well with what Unchained had planned, and that was what made it all more fascinating. If Digimon turned against them, how would the players feel? Would they stick to their beliefs? There was one person that Unchained knew was different, a person who had previously taken interest in them. A hard-hearted person who didn't believe in coexisting with Digimon was possible. He had told Unchained all about his ideals, even given Unchained his former partner. Even given Unchained his former partner Digimon. Humans can be such frustrating creatures, don't you think so? Unchained snapped their fingers and a figure, bathed in light, yet shadow, appeared by their side. It was a line that had been drawn down its middle. Its right side was beast-like and its left mechanical. Machinamon. With its name it was called, several more sources of light suddenly appeared, Unchained, as if to answer a summons. There had to be more than 50 of them. He's going to be an interesting character, an interesting villain. I'm digging Unchained. I'm curious if there's going to be any evil Digimon that are going to interact with him. That's going to be interesting. It could be coming. Data from the ex-partner Digimon Unchained's associate had been pasted onto Akinama's, strengthening it. As a byproduct of what started out as a single Digimon, was now a full-fledged type. Well, look at our team go. It seems they found every last one of you. The one to release the Lacuna-adapted Machinamon had been Unchained, of course. Then, after providing them with little training, Unchained had set the debugging team on the hunt. Luckily, any concerns that the team might let one slip away proved to be unfounded. They had all performed brilliantly and caught every single last Machinamon before sending them onto Unchained. And there was more. In Unchained's left hand, a separate spear of light appeared, glowing a faint blue. A single Digimon was curled slightly into a ball. It was asleep, and eyes were closed. A long green bug-like body had multiple legs and a pair of antennae. Right, then it looked just like a grub waiting to emerge from chrysalis. It was named Wormmon. It was wandering around the obsidian desert when it found by Machinamon. Unable to acclimate to the world of Lacuna, it was only on the verge of disappearing altogether. Unchained had quickly acted to secure the Digimon themselves. Wasn't it tough living in a world like that? Unchained smiled at the Digimon, not expecting a reply. It's ironic, isn't it? You guys are born in this world and should naturally have the right to live here, yet it rejects you. Digital monsters could survive a long time in Lacuna. The very environment quickly got to work eating away at their bodies. But no matter how much Unchained brooded over it, how they despised and spread it the way of this world, it would not change. It could not be changed. Yet Unchained was not deterred. A desire to see Digimon eat, breathe, battle, and live free and simple life. That felt natural drove Unchained. They clenched their fists tightly. They would fight. You want the same as me too, right, cool boy? Cool boy, Unchained spoke the name of another who agonized over the future of Digimon. He was a brilliant man who first discovered Lacuna and sought to protect the Digimon there before anyone else did. Although he took a different approach to Unchained in fighting for a reality whether Digimon could be free, he was a true hero and one of the few people that Unchained could trust from the bottom of their heart. However, his way was too slow. How many more Digimon's lives would be lost before his project concluded? Unchained couldn't bear to even think about it. They had gladly gone along with Cool Boy at the beginning, but now they were angry and frustrated at the snail's pace at which things were progressing. It's not like my way will save every Digimon either, though. Still, compared to Cool Boy's plan, Unchained was much more quicker and would help a lot more Digimon. That's what gave him the resolve to proceed, even though it meant conflicting with him. Now let's put sensibility aside, shall we? Unchained switched gears from the numerous Machinamon. This grand plan of theirs didn't involve Lacuna, but the whole of Digimon kind. There was no room for half measures. I need your help too, Wormmon. They said to the Digimon resting in the low ball of light. It looked like the Digimon was already reaching its limits. Even if Unchained did send it to guard it, it still wouldn't have much time left. From a survival perspective, there wasn't much they could do. You can still live. Unchained was going to paste 2 sets of data that Makinomon, which was made up of New World data, and that of the Digimon Unchained's collaborator provided, which was now stored within Makinomon. This would allow Wormmon to shine at the very end of its life. Let's get started. I'm counting on you, Makinomon. At the sound of a name, a single Makinomon drew up close to Wormmon. Then Makinomon's mind disintegrated into a cascade of ones and zeros, and source code began to enter the bug-like Digimon. Badump. Wormmon's body bent backward with a huge jolt as new life had been forcibly breathed into it. Good. Once this Digimon was concealed inside an NPC in Lacuna, preparations would be complete. Maybe I should have issued a warning once we're done. The main objective of this phase was to cultivate the abilities of the debugging team. To have them fall at the first hurdle would be totally unacceptable. They would need to protect this world, or the plan would be in ruins. After all, this would sooner or later become an arc that would take them to distant land. So Unchained decided to send a single message idea, a simple message indicating that Lacuna was in peril. I am sorry, Wormmon. I probably won't be able to take you with me, but you'll become the root of many of Digimon's salvation. So know that you'll never forget you. Vowing to honor Wormmon for the rest of their life, Unchained transported the light-draped Digimon from the void to Lacuna. Cool boy, if only I had one wish, it would be for you to find it in your heart to forgive me. For gouging a piece of this world you've created, and for everything I'm about to do from now. Unchained knew that Cool Boy would never hear their prayer, but they couldn't help but hopeless regardless. As they tried to ignore the stabbing pain in their chest, they wonder if this was akin to the feeling that humans describe as love. Unchained laughed awkwardly at no one in particular. Now it's about time I get started. The fight will continue the fate of the digital world. Interesting. So he's kind of the main villain. I'm curious to how our friend Zenith will play into this character, because I think they might be too connected. I don't know. Anyway, that's the end for the novel side. I'm gonna stop this video, and then I'm gonna go on to the comic side, and we're gonna see what other things Digimon Liberator has offered. Okie dokie, let's move on to the comic side. All right, they're out of security shields, and everything is all set here. Attack, Rengalemon! Okay. Digivolve. Over memory. Safagamon is back, boys. The wind digivolving effect suspends one of the opponent's Digimon. The Waymon. Shoto, it's not over yet. Obviously. When my turn is over, at the end of your turn, this Digimon attack opponent's Digimon with attack and can attack the player it was played. The effect when Safagamon attacks, and the effect of the 2 cards are activated consecutively. While attacking my opponent's suspended Digimon, beep, unsuspend. I unsuspend Safagamon with the inheritable effect, and also this tamer effect attacks the player. In addition, suspending Safagamon with the when attacking effect returns my opponent's suspended Digimon. Bounce to the bottom of the deck. The battlefield is empty. You got this, Safagamon. Whoa. Oh, very cool. All right. I'm a little too close for comfort. Sorry about that. All right. Chain of Liberation. All right. After joining the debugging team, the Sagamon that had suddenly become unusable suddenly became usable again. On top of that, I found new cards had been mysteriously added. The new one. Yao and the others looked into it, but they couldn't find the cause. I'm stumped. There are still many mysteries left unsolved. Yeah! Amazing, Shoto. Nice job, Shoto. Thank you. You're really getting the hang of these battles. I tell you improved. Is that so? That's great, but I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm still lacking. I was so focused on my own battle, I didn't realize what was going on around me. Owen beat his NPC before I even realized. Oh, so we're not even going to see his ultimate level Digimon. I never would imagine that Dimetromon. Okay. Would Digivolve like that? Oh boy. In any case, this means we won the 3-on-3 battle. By the way, how's Close doing? What's the situation? You need to learn how to assess the situation on your own, newbie. I can't deny that. I guess you're not here to fill out the roster. Keep up the good work. Huh. What's up with this guy? He's like a totally different person. But you still have a long way to catch up to me. You're a piece of work. I thought you had changed. We need to switch our focus onto how Close is doing in her battle. Do you want to know or not? Tell me already. It's up to her. That's what I intend to do all along. Just by looking at the battle, it doesn't seem like it's going well. Close has 2 security shields left. Close has 2 tamer cards in the battle area. If you have 2 or less memory, set to 3. When any of your rock Digimon would digivolve into mineral rock trait, by suspending this tamer, place up to 2 cards with mineral trait from your trash at this Digimon's evolution cards. Okay. She has no Digimon in battle area. Hello! Proganomon. There's a level 5 Proganomon in the breeding area. So that's Proganomon? I heard only about this Digimon. It's quite intimidating up close. The level 4 is also a new type. Oh, Landramon! Landramon, was it? She hasn't touched the opponent's NPC security. All 5 security shields are still there. Still like she's been outmatched. There's a level 4 Dolphimon in the battle area. And Plesiomon. There's also a level 6 Digimon that's the NPC's been saving for later in the breeding area. Moreover, it's her opponent's turn. But the memory gauge is at 0. Things are not looking good. Be quiet and watch. Close is a lot more reliable than you. Ha! I'll have to learn a thing or two from her. Anyway, so there is a Plesiomon and breeding, Come to think of it, there's something about this whole situation. What are Deep Saver's NPCs doing in the middle of the Obsidian Desert? There are no seas in the area. Newbie, haven't you gotten into the main scenario yet? Sigh. These NPCs guard the entrance to Lapis Marine's underwater temple. Of course they're not supposed to be here, especially since they're not out of control. The only objective they could have here is Close. Objective? NPCs have an objective. Shh. The NPC is finished loading. Here it comes. Dolphimon attacks the player. Security checked. Gogamon. Ooh, yeah. Inheritable effect. Jamming. Breakthrough. 1 more security shield. Cost of beep 3. Over memory 3. Digimon into Seadramon. Oh, man. So we're going to see Aegis-Dramon probably in the next episode. Mega Seadramon unsuspends when digivolving effect. Things don't seem to be looking good, even in the breeding area. Yeah, the Plesiomon. They might even release their ace. This is really bad, isn't it? A tamer is strong enough to earn the respect of Owen is about to lose. Like I said before, newbie, be quiet and watch. Close is reliable. In fact, I can only see this battle being a complete win for us. Owen has so much faith in Close. Is Close really that strong? Draw phase. Tsunarizamon. I guess it's about time for me to make an appearance, right? Yeah. Let's go all out. Come, my partner. Understood. I will protect you with everything I have. I move Programmon from the breeding area. Then I attack. Come, Programmon. Collision. During this Digimon attack, all of your opponent's Digimon gain blocker. And the opponent's... Okay, collision is 8,000. Mega Seedramon is also 7,000. If the opponent blocks the attack under these conditions, it will be a tie. Ha! Ha ha ha! Don't be so naive. You must not underestimate even the smallest of things. If you don't want to pull the carpet out from under knee, fragment. Huh? Activate. Fragment? Close Digimon has amazing endurance. By trashing 3 Digivolution cards, piercing. Oh, okay. Interesting. Landramon. It's virus. Okay, when the delete one of your. Okay. Now, Programmon, strike the enemy without fear or of a counterattack and without being deleted. Without. Or will admission being deleted. Fragment. When this Digimon would be deleted by trashing 3 of its Digivolution cards, it isn't deleted. Whoa! I activate Tumblemon's inevitable effect. Activate. When this card is trashed from the Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. I get 1 memory. Programmon has piercing effect. Security check complete. Gessomon, alright, breaks through. The NPC has 4 security shields remaining. Okay, we have 4 memory to use however we want. Do you want to go out close? Yes. I Digivolve. Programmon. What's that? Ah, yes. That's closest partner. Sunarizamon's true form. A level 6 Digimon with some of the best durability of the debugging team. Pure Mighty. Oh boy. Okay, so Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Woo! All right, I need to check something. We gotta go back. So this was exciting. So we get to see everything. Oh boy. Oh, hoo, hoo, hoo. They're not messing around. All right. So that's the level 5 it looks like. And that's the level 6. I'm curious if we get to see it. Well, of course, we got to look into the Digi Encyclopedia, folks. See what we got here. So we don't have Liza's partner, but we do get to see Landramon, champion mineral. This looks perfect for it. A mineral Digimon whose body comprises of mostly sand-based data. It makes its territory in deserts, blending into the sand as it moves around in search of prey. It also works together with its herds of Sunarizaman to combat invaders. Acting as something of a leader to the Sunarizaman, Landramon uses the vibrations of its cry, a low-pitched moan, to relay commands to the herd through the sand. As Landramon fights by manipulating the sand that comprises his body, its strength and its heavy influence by the terrain. This is also the reason Landramon despises moisture. While in the desert, Landramon can wield unfathomable power, and is feared as a hunter that uses quicksand to subdue its prey. For its special move, Terra Spike, Landramon extends its retractable claws and stabs its target from beneath the ground, while for desert bits, it creates a giant pit of quicksand to swallow its enemies. Alright, that's cool. Alright, I like it. Alright. Programmon. Okay. Programmon. I'm liking this. A turtle-like mineral Digimon that primarily inhabits desert regions. Programmon uses its drills and excavators to penetrate through bedrock as it travels. As it does so, it triggers earthquakes that hollow the earth and collapse the surface. At night, it retracts its hind legs into its shell, and expels the sand and gravel stored in its body to travel long distances in search of a safe place to sleep. Proganamon's shell constitutes more than half the volume of its body and comprises mostly mineral data. As a result, whenever Proganamon is destroyed, all that remains is a fossil-like shell. The left-behind shell will sometimes become home to Digimon inhabiting sandy areas. Proganamon's special move, Tricon Bit Demolisher, during which it rapidly revolves its claws to grind its opponent's armor to dust, and drill mission when it launches drill-like missiles from its shell. Oh boy, okay. And then we have Pyramidimon. We gotta get up close. A Digimon with extremely large body. It digivolved from the data of ancient ruins scattered throughout the digital world. Pyramidimon's body is made up of sand data and is surrounded by a perpetual sandstorm that keeps ordinary Digimon from approaching it. By absorbing both ruins and the ancient data stored within them, Pyramidimon has developed extraordinary intelligence along with the power to hold its own against enormous armies. A Digimon that consumes vast amounts of energy when active. Its typical spend of time is sleep, camouflaging itself as a pyramid. Even if Pyramidimon suffers from massive damage, it can instantly regenerate by absorbing sand from surroundings. As such, it's extremely difficult to stop this Digimon without landing a direct hit on its core. When it uses Zolfar Caboose move, Pyramidimon spins its pyramidal fingers and pulverizes its enemy, while Apish the pyramids on its shoulders smash the enemy from overhead. Lastly, for its Lasina Kamisi move, it unleashes a devastating erosion sandstorm from the eye of its chest. 3 moves! Wow, that's a record for the new Digimon. Oh yeah, okay. Alright. I'll go check my Twitter. We definitely got to see some cards. See what we've got cooking. Here is Landramon, of course. The new card. It looks very snazzy. On Evolve, if you have one less Tamers in play, you may play one close from your hand at no cost, inheritable. When this card is trashed from a mineral card, by an effect, delete when opposing Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So it can work with Digiburst. That's pretty cool. I got like that. Just scrolling through, see what else is there. All right, I'm going to check some more, but yeah, we've got some good looks. I don't think this is the HD image. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but these are still very cool Digimon. This. Oh, very cool. All right, we will save this. I'll do some individual ones. Yeah, I'll definitely have to give my thoughts. I got to give my voice a break and then see things. All right. All right. I think that's going to be done. I'm going to see you guys next time. Unshin seems like it's going to be the villain for the story, which is very cool. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. I'll definitely have some more updates for the videos tomorrow, so keep track of this. But this will be up hopefully by 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. See you guys, and have a good Thursday.